Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sense of Humor podcast. Welcome back. Welcome back. Feels like it's been longer than it probably has. In fact, I think it's only been a week, but it's been a really long week for me personally. But welcome back. I'm your host, Tyler, or Multimite, and my co host, Travis, or Griffin Shock.
Hello.
Yeah, so before we get started, how you doing, Travis?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Just been working a lot. Not much really other than that.
I was gonna say, like, new job treating you well then?
Yeah, it's got a couple. There's only one person so far that's been giving me issues and attitude, but other than that, it works usually really good.
That's
That same employee though, he's a service advisor up front, and he was being sexist and racist towards one of the girls that's in the shop.
what
And
the freak?
yeah, he got mad at her because I was working on it, taking out the drain plug on the car, and it was really stuck on there. So out of everyone in the shop, I asked her for help because I like her and I trust her, and she's a good employee. She's a really good person to talk to. And so I was like, hey, can you come over here and help me with this? And she goes, yeah, sure. So she comes over, and that service advisor comes back and is like, you can't do it. Only he can do it. And she goes, why is that? And he goes, well, I mean, look at you. And she walked away and said, I'm done. And she clocked out and then came back like 3 hours later.
Jeez. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, be civil, everyone out there. If you're an asshole, quit it. Like,
Yeah,
not even like exaggerating. Don't be an asshole. Like, that's
there's no
just
point to it.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so petty. Like, I don't understand any of that. Like, I've like had a couple of coworkers that are like that. I don't know if they were like sorry. I don't know if they were serious. They probably aren't, to be honest. Like most of our work group are we all act like jackasses at work, so
Yeah.
but regardless if you are serious and or if you are joking and you sound serious, like make a point to be like I'm kidding, like don't actually be an asshole. Anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
so
Anyways.
um any I guess pop culture stuff you want to talk about? Is there anything that oh
Um,
my gosh came out recently that interests you or like any news before we get into the actual topic?
sure. Well, earlier today, before we actually had cars to do in the morning, I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw that they're planning on doing a Camp Crystal Lake TV show.
Oh, and what is Camp Crystal Lake?
Um, it's basically going to be the whole backstory of Jason and how he became Jason and the true dark story and the true dark past about what's evil at Crystal Lake. Is going to express like how he got the like the disability or deform that he has. It's basically, in other words, a whole general, real in-depth backstory on Jason.
Okay, so an origin story for Jason Voorhees. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I know is his mom's a witch, and she was the main villain of the first Friday the 13th. And then the second one is where they introduced Jason Voorhees, and yeah, like you said, he's like a deformed being that's also like basically unkillable.
hmm Yeah, that's basically the whole gist of it. Like his mom was upset and did some stuff that she shouldn't, and then went around killing everyone, even though they were nowhere near part of it. But she just killed everyone because she was in the mindset of like they're not helping. They didn't wash my kid, and he drowned in the lake because they're too busy having sex and partying like teenagers would.
Okay, so The first one is about her getting revenge on,
Yeah.
like, well, I guess just taking out her rage on people that weren't even involved, but, similar scenarios, I guess. Um, but I did know that, like, I guess kids were bullying Jason,
Hmm.
and he ended up drowning in the lake.
Yeah, like he was out playing in the lake, but considering he can't swim very well and of his disability or deformity, whatever you want to call it, he needs to be watched. Like he needs attention and constant attention and supervision. But of course, the camp counselors were preoccupied with other things and didn't want to pay attention to him. And he was drowning in the lake, and they just watched and then walked away.
Fair enough. That's,
So
yeah, honestly, that's kind of messed up, like, especially, concerning the circumstances, like, you know, I feel like that would that's very possible to be a real thing. Obviously, not the coming back alive as a serial killer, that's unkillable, like basically a demon, but
yeah, just the idea of them.
unsupervised, yeah, an unsupervised children or child that, needs supervision, especially while doing activities like swimming or whatnot. But yeah, so anything else? Because
Mm-mm.
I don't really have anything. Okay. So, as we all know, and I think I brought it up a little bit at the start of last podcast, but Disney released a trailer for Tron Ares, so I thought it would be fun to kind of revisit the Tron Legacy. Not Tron Legacy on its own, like the movie, but like the legacy of Tron, the character and the franchise. Because, admittedly, I'm like a huge fan. Like, I grew up with the first movie, and then my dad was the one that like told me and my brother like, "Hey, they're coming out with a new Tron movie." And bear in mind the differences between the original and the new one, and the newer ones, is very like widely different, and not in a bad way either. Like I want to clarify that. Like I actually really liked the redesign that they did for Tron Legacy, but the original Tron, for many people who don't know, like the actual start of the franchise,
Mhm.
was like, I don't know. Let me look at the exact year, but yeah, like the very first Tron movie, which was made in 1982, was about Jeff Bridges' character, or Kevin Flynn, who's like a hacker that got quote unquote abducted in to the grid by the villain of that movie, which was known as the Master Control. Really, really cool concept. Like obviously the technology wasn't really there at the start, but again, not in a bad way. Like I'm not crapping on it whatsoever. Me and my brother again like grew up loving this franchise, so it was the love for that franchise was all still there. And let me tell you, like ever since that movie, or ever since we saw the original movie, um, we grew up like throwing the little discs. We'd make Tron discs out of like paper plates, so that way A, they wouldn't hurt, and B, like we could like throw them relatively well. Like we would tape multiple layers so that way it was like more effective when thrown. So it actually threw like a frisbee.
Well, that's
So
cool.
yeah, no, we had a lot of fun. And then when Tron Legacy hit, I think that was the first and only film that I've seen. How many times did we see it? We saw it like maybe like 5 times. Like we went and watched that movie over and over again. Like we loved that movie, and I still do. Like a lot of people can, especially critics, could shit on it all they want.
Like when we were like, I loved it as a kid as well. Like it was a big deal for me. Not as big as one for you, but definitely relatable. My mom bought us
I
these frisbees. It was like an actual frisbee, but it was like rubber. I guess it's like a soft rubber, but it was like a very like thin and very light, but very sturdy frisbee. But it was like in a circle, and it was like a disc, and I thought it was really cool. So I would pretend I was Tron in the backyard. But then one day I threw it in the front yard with my friend, and it got stuck on top of the light post, and we decided to just leave it.
Yeah,
So,
jeez. Yeah, I mean, admittedly, yeah, kind of same scenario for me. Like, except my parents, like when Tron Legacy was like the big thing, um, my parents bought us the like actual discs and everything. They were plastic though, so we couldn't really like throw them at each other. So I think one time it was for school, but my grandma had made us both like Tron Legacy looking pajamas for like a pajama day, and I
oh, that's
brought the
cool.
frisbee to school, and yeah, we just played frisbee on recess and everything. Like I love Tron, and I still do, and it's probably one of the coolest sci-fi franchises out there. Obviously, probably not as realistic as it like, should be, whatever, like in terms of like technology, like how programs actually work. But I don't know, just the way they did it, like I honestly could care less. Like if it's not like technologically accurate, it's a sci-fi movie. And I think that's the point is like programs and all that, they're not actually people or vehicles or weapons or whatever, but like to put that idea out there, especially back in like the 1980s, like that's just so cool and crazy and bizarre. Like I feel like the first Tron was ahead of its time as well as Tron Legacy. Like Tron Legacy had kind of the first I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically where you put the face of an actor over another like
Uh,
actor to
like
make them look like
CGI,
that.
or
Yes, but it's called something else. Like it's like oh freak, that's it's gonna bother me, but basically like the thing where like they put the face of an actor over another person and make them look like that actor. Like that's what they did with Clue and Flynn, because programs don't age. So like Clue was a duplicate of Flynn, like he was a mirror image of Flynn, but to like tell them apart, they made Clue stay young and obviously more evil and everything, and kind of like delusional like young Flynn was. Like and they even bring that up in the movie, is like Clue was programmed to create the perfect system, and he saw ISOs as like this disease or this like cancer to the grid. And you know I think it was like a whole thing with like I don't want to relate it too much, but basically like the Holocaust, because if you think about it, or even like the Jedi being wiped out by the clones, like it was like the same thing where the ISOs were wiped out by Clue and his forces. So seeing the new movie take a whole different approach, where now instead of the real world going into the grid is going to the real world, which is like again another interesting play on the universe, because all we've really seen of it is like the main um you know the main grid, like how do I put it, the main story like revolves around in the grid. And I didn't have a problem with that either, because like that was like our version of like, I don't know, a planet in Star Wars, like where the main story happens on the Death Star, or the main story happens on like, Endor or Geonosis or whatever. Like the grid is like its own like different universe or whatever. So
yeah, like Like I'm interested about it because like I'm excited for it regardless, even if I don't like it. It's just a Tron movie and I love Tron, so I know I'm probably gonna like it no matter what. But I don't really have anything really negative to say. I'm hoping that we're gonna see some of the original cast and some of the original like people like Kevin Flynn, um his dad. I want to see all of them, or not at least all of them, but at least some of them come back. And I want to understand like because I know Keanu Reeves is gonna I think be the main like person in the show, so or in the movie. So I hope that like they at least give a backstory on what happened with Kevin Flynn and I forgot her name, but
So Sam Flynn is the main
Sam
character of
Flynn.
Legacy. Yeah,
Okay,
Kevin Flynn
yeah,
is the dad.
Sam
Kevin
Flynn. I
Flynn's the
mean,
one
yeah.
that I don't know if he made the grid necessarily. I think he. So what happened is, and they again kind of explain it in Legacy, because so Tron is a security program developed by the older guy that kind of visits Sam Flynn. It's gonna bother me if I don't look up his name. Alan Bradley. He made Tron in the original movie. Um, and Tron was a security program, so he was the protector of the grid, and anything that was wrong, he would take care of. Like he was, that's why he was basically the John Wick of, um, the John Wick of the grid, basically. Like he could kill any program, no problem. But so it's not Keanu Reeves. It's actually Jared Leto. So for
Mm,
people who don't know
that's
who
what I meant.
Jared Leto is, Jared
Morbius.
Leto is the guy who plays Morbius and DC Joker. So not the best movies or best like uh you know what's the word, resume, I guess. Like it's not the best
Not the best
like
pick. Just
look, yeah,
yeah.
like and people can complain all you want. Like I don't have a problem with him as a person or even as an actor. Like I just feel like he was given terrible scripts. It wasn't like
Yeah.
him as an actor, it was the movies that he was in. So I'm hoping with Disney's big budget and numerous talented writers and everything, I'm hoping that this will be his big break. Like this will be the thing that will fix Jared Leto's career in a way. Like, and I wouldn't even say his career's broken if they even considered him for the role. Like I'm kind of glad we get to see him hopefully redeem himself, like cuz I think plenty of actors have kind of gone through that, like Robert Downey Jr. and um, what was another actor that like kind of fell hard? Like I'm not trying to like shame them. I'm actually applauding them for like going from going through something so rough and then coming out on top and fixing everything. So, but
Yeah, it's like
um,
this is like
or
his
Johnny Depp
chance to.
too.
Johnny Depp, yeah, he's been acting for a while though, but
Well, so did Johnny, or so did Robert Downey Jr. But then again, they both kind of got involved in drugs and stuff, and they kind of turned themselves around like the early 2000s. So
yeah,
I mean, again, like it's that kind of redemption I'm hoping for Jared Leto. Not to say that he has a substance problem or even problems at all. Again, I don't really know him typically as a person, but as an actor, I do know him through those two other films that I brought up. And again, like not his greatest, show or whatever, but I think with Tron Ares, who he's playing the main character, or at least the title character, Tron Ares, because that's another thing to bring up too. Is in the movies are called Tron, but even in Tron Legacy, Tron wasn't the main character. He was like a side character, brought in to kind of be like the secondary antagonist. Like he was the Darth Maul of Tron Legacy, whereas like the main villain's Palpatine, or in this case, Clue. Like Clue's the main big baddie, and then Tron for a little bit, also known as Rinsler, was the main like baddie, like chasing after the main characters.
Yeah.
And to kind of go to your point with them bringing back the cast, so far the only returning cast is Kevin Flynn, which is weird because that means this is either a prequel to Tron Legacy, or this is or he's going to be involved in some back story or flashback scenes with Ares. So this is kind of my theory, and I've seen some people with similar theories. So in the trailer, from what we've gathered, is the bad programs have gotten to the real world, and it looks like they're trying to take over. It seems like they've only hit the city where supposedly like Kevin Flynn and Sam Flynn lived, but yeah, no sign of or Sam Flynn or Cora, because they drove off into the sunset. I don't know if they had like a romance or something, but they're both who knows where. But anyway, the bad programs are back, and they somehow crossed over to the real world. But on top of that, it seems like them crossing over activated Ares or something. Now, my theory was maybe Kevin Flynn made Ares to go after programs that may have breached the grid and left to the real world. And he programmed Ares to basically hunt down those programs and either return them to the grid or de-res them, or, in other words, kill them, so that way they can bring no harm to the real world. Now, that would make the most sense. I feel like it being a sequel would make the most sense, because otherwise that would mean people know the grid like exists, and maybe they do in Tron Legacy, and they just never explained that. But that would mean like, okay, so people know that programs are humanoids, that some are not exactly good people or good beings trying to take over the real world and all that. So I don't know, that always confused me, like in terms of if it was like a prequel or a sequel or whatever. I'm thinking prequel because, again, like I think Kevin Flynn was the one talking to Ares when he said there's no going back. And I think what he means by that is as soon as Ares is done with his mission, he'll probably either take his own life, because even Kevin Flynn was like, there's no going back. So that either means he's dead, like by the end of the film, or maybe like some human, I don't know, somehow falls in love with him and he finds another purpose in life in the real world. And
Yeah.
I don't know, like I'm not gonna like speculate too much, because I do want some of the surprise to be there, but I genuinely think that is the main line of the story. Is Ares is this basically rogue program hunter, which would be kind of cool, honestly. I would love to see that. But what do you think? Because that's kind of the main theory, or so we've heard and so I've come up with, but I don't know if it's actually true or not. You there, Travis?
Sorry, I was talking all the time and I didn't realize it. Um, I'm hoping and realizing that that's gonna be his dad, like a backstory on like his dad, like his dad's backstory or something, you know? Because I mean, I hope they don't do it, but it would be an interesting concept if they did. do it that way. Um,
I mean, that's technically the first movie, though.
yeah,
Like, the
I mean,
first movie is about Kevin Flynn, and then the legacy's about Sam Flynn.
yeah, I get what you're saying, but like, I just feel like I don't know. I have a slight hunch that because a lot of movies have been doing that lately, where it's a lot of like backstories and stuff like that. I mean, it would be really cool if they continued off from where they left off, but like, if they had to do a backstory, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I wouldn't mind.
Oh, yeah. Like,
Understand.
I wouldn't mind if it was a backstory either, but continuity-wise, like, or like story-wise, it wouldn't make sense to me. Cause like, and I'm sure they'll explain it and they'll hopefully have like a clean explanation on why they chose a prequel over a sequel. But yeah, at the end of the day, it wouldn't make sense for it to be a prequel, cause in Legacy, Sam Flynn's dead, and or Kevin Flynn's dead. We have no idea where Sam or Cora are, or if
Yeah.
either of the actors are returning. I feel like there would be an uproar if neither of the actors returned. To be honest, me personally, I'd be like, "Where's Kevin Flynn? Where's Sam Flynn? Or where's Sam Flynn? Where's Cora?" Because they were the two main characters of the, legacy and everything. So I don't know. Personally, I think it'd be kind of dumb to just, leave it off with nothing. Because, again, the um, the critics didn't give it a great review, but the fans did. And I feel like
Yeah.
Disney needs to stop, going off of critic reviews and go more off of, fan like reviews. Because
Yes, I agree
if
with
you
you.
look if you look at like Kenobi uh and like Ahsoka, they brought back Hayden Christensen, and a lot of people, thought to hate the prequels and everything. But as soon as he came back as Anakin Skywalker, a lot of people realized, no, we love this. Like, we love seeing like a return of these characters that, kind of built the franchise. And then you see the opposite with like the sequel trilogy. Like, there are some people that do like the sequel trilogy, but the people that grew up with the prequels and the Clone Wars and everything, they're all like, no, like, give us that nostalgia, or like with new content, like basically give us a new story with old characters. So I bet in the end, like, so Ares will probably be fighting alongside. So it looks like the cop that's in the movie. I don't know her name, but I'm assuming her and Ares will be the main characters, and they'll both work together to fight the rogue programs. And then maybe nearing the end, it'll be kind of like either an end game or Deadpool and Wolverine moment where, Cora and Sam Flynn will show up to help as well and be like, hey, this is how we can stop them. Like, this is how my dad, like, this is what my dad programmed you to do. Or, I don't know, like, maybe Kevin Flynn left behind some messages for Sam Flynn if that ever happened, telling him about Ares, and I think Ares will like know his purpose, obviously, but like maybe not know 100% how to stop him. So, or
Yeah.
at least that's my hope. Like, I would love some sort of connection with, you know, Kevin Flynn and or Sam Flynn and Ares, or Cora and Ares. Like, it doesn't even have to be like both of them. It can just be one or the other. Like, I would love to see Cora again. I would love to see Sam Flynn again. If we only got one of the two, I wouldn't mind either. I would love to see them both, though, because, they were both the main characters of that, or of Legacy. I would also really like to see the actor of both the original Tron as well as Alan Bradley, the creator of Tron. I
Mm-hmm.
think he's still alive. Yeah, he's still alive. Okay, so yeah, so just bring characters like that back. Like, you don't have to just bring in new characters. But with that said, there is a pretty solid cast in my opinion, and I'm actually really excited to see, um, all the characters that these actors will portray, because I don't know if you saw the full cast or not, but
Mm-mm.
here are some names that you'll probably recognize. So obviously we have, Jared Leto, he's Ares. Jeff Bridges is Kevin Flynn, but then we also have Evan Peters. And if anyone doesn't know who Evan Peters is, that's the guy who plays like Quicksilver from the X-Men movies, as
Oh,
well
really?
as what's his face? The serial killer, forgot his name.
Oh, um, oh, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yep, Dahmer. Yep. So that he's in it, and I'm really looking forward to it. It looks like he's playing Julian Dillinger, which is a character brought up. He's the villain or he's the human villain of the first movie, like the first 1980 movie. He plays Julian Dillinger. So he's either a descendant of Dillinger or a descendant of Dillinger's son, because in the in Legacy they bring up Edward Dillinger, who's played by the guy who plays Scarecrow in
Mm.
Batman Begins, as well as Oppenheimer. He plays Oppenheimer. So
Oh, okay, I know
that
what you're talking
guy,
about. Yeah.
yeah. So I am assuming he's playing the son of that Dillinger, or maybe he's the brother of that Dillinger. So it looks like they are bringing legacy characters, or characters involved with legacy characters. There is also Cameron Monaghan. I was going to say Morgan, but it's Monaghan. Do you know by name who that is?
No, I have no idea
That
who it is.
is the one and only Cal Kestis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's playing in it. A lot of people are saying he's going to be playing the main villain, though.
Oh, he's also from Shameless too, right?
Yeah, and he was
Yeah,
also Gotham's version of Joker
I
as
like that one.
well. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was very
he played a good
interesting.
Joker. I
And
wouldn't mind seeing a movie with them in it, but I have this like, 'cause this has been a theory as far as I've always known. Um, you know how like in the beginning of Tron Legacy, how Flynn's with his dad, and his dad's like talking to him, or telling him a story about like the grid and everything, right? And he has him a quarter.
mm-hmm.
People were saying that that was actually Clue instead of his dad, and it was kind of like Clue trying to get him to go to the arcade with the quarter to like it was kind of, everyone's, or at least not everyone, but some people I know are saying that that's like it was part of Clue's plan the whole time to try to get you know Sam to go there and to let him out or whatever. But
That would be a cool theory, but that would also indicate that he has been out of the grid before. But that would also in turn mean like he's been out of the grid, so either he didn't have a way to bring his whole army out of the grid,
mhm.
or like you were saying, like he was just like he needs a user, or in this case Sam, to like open the big portal to like carry his army through into the real world, which would be kind of cool. That would actually be a really cool theory, and I like that. I think that's interesting.
like 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 when they were telling me, I also came up with like my own theory, I guess, with it is like if it was Clue or whatever, and Sam's dad found out that he was doing that or whatever, and that's why he went missing, because they probably got into a dispute and an argument, and then that's probably how his dad got stuck in the grid in the first place that night, is because his dad probably found out that Clue was there and trying to get something to happen.
Well, the reason why Clue turned against Flynn was because of the ISOs.
Mm.
Like it, yeah. In the they or Kevin Flynn explains that in Tron Legacy. He says like, you know, Like they found the ISOs, which were basically an alien. Like it was a creature in the grid that wasn't developed by him. It was like it was almost like a
Oh,
virus, but it didn't affect the grid negatively. But Clue thought it did because Clue was programmed by Kevin Flynn to make quote unquote the perfect system. So that's why Clue turned against Kevin Flynn, is because Kevin wanted the ISOs, but Clue saw that as like a defect against the grid, and he thought it endangered, the grid or whatever, even though they didn't, and that wasn't their intention or purpose. Um, so that's why, Kevin Flynn, or that's why Clue betrayed Kevin Flynn. And Kevin didn't mean for that to happen, but um, Clue felt like Kevin betrayed him by uh, letting the ISOs live in the grid peacefully and whatnot, like not seeing him as some sort of defect or problem to the grid. So that's why Clue betrayed Kevin Flynn, not because um yeah. Like it wasn't like a unmutual thing. Well, obviously it's not a mutual thing, but like
like
that's the reason why he was betrayed. Not because of yeah.
I really am excited for this movie. I really am. I'm just like when a movie's so good in the first place, you know what I mean? And then they have to like come out with the second one. You can't just like you just like always have to go to it with like oh gosh, I hope they don't mess it up. And you have like a sense of fear or worry the whole time until you start watching the movie and you're like, oh, maybe it's actually a good movie. But like you get that sense or urge, or guess whatever you want to call it, of like fear about the movie the whole time, you know. And
Yeah.
I'm just
And
worried. Like I really want them to do really well, and I'm gonna go in with high hopes. But like I'm just like, please, please, please don't be bad.
yeah,
Like it was
that
so
that's my
perfect, just don't mess it up, you know.
that's my worry too. Like I mean, obviously like rewatching Legacy, which is I think something we should both do before the new one comes out. I mean, we have like till the end of the year before it comes out, but yeah, like I definitely need some reminders, but yeah, no, like the main premise from what I'm getting from this film is like Ares was either invented by Kevin Flynn or something. Like I don't know. A lot of people are saying cuz Clue also had the ability to
Create.
repurpose programs, so like basically turn them red or evil for his own purpose.
Yeah, like he could
So,
re-corrupt them or reprogram them the way he has to. Yeah,
yeah. So, and I
like
mean like I don't know. I don't know how the best way to put it in words, but there's also a TV show that kind of reinforces like all these ideas and kind of explains it in bigger depth. But there was a TV show, an animated show that was a prequel series to Legacy, and it takes place in between Flynn's disappearance slash Clue's takeover and Tron Legacy. So the show's about a program named Beck, and him and his friends in the grid. They're just chilling. They're all programs, whatever. They're in harmony. But then Clue comes to their side of the grid. So
yeah.
basically, this is a city further from the main one that Sam Flynn ends up in. But they travel
Mhm.
to that city, like that part of the grid, and they're like taking over. They're like, okay, you guys are now under the rule of Clue and whatever. And Beck's friend, like, basically kind of tries to defy him. Like, is like, hey, like, this is our spot. Like, what are you doing? And one of Clue's guards kills him. So Beck is kind of triggered by this, wants revenge at first. So what he does is he kind of takes up the mantle of Tron at the start, and he pretends to be Tron, even though, the rumor is Tron's dead. So Tron's kind of like a superhero, I guess, or like just a sheriff of the grid. So,
Yeah.
and that's kind of like what this show's about, is basically uh Beck is kind of like putting on the mantle of Tron to be like this vigilante program, and that's why I really liked the show. And he's even voiced by Elijah Wood, who's the actor of Frodo Baggins. So hearing his voice play the character was kind of fun and really cool to see. So if you guys haven't seen it, it is on Disney Plus. Unfortunately, is only 13 episodes, and the show was canceled because it didn't get enough traction. But it is a
Oh no.
fantastic show, and I really wish they kept going because it left it on a huge cliffhanger. And
Oh, then
not
I
only
can't watch it,
that,
bro.
yeah. Well, the worst part is the timeline is Tron Uprising, then Tron Legacy. So right after Tron Uprising, you have no idea what happens to Beck. You have no idea what happens to the original Tron, because that's the other thing too, is the original Tron apparently was not originally corrupted. Like, he wasn't Clue's pawn from the start, as it shows, because Beck gets captured by the actual Tron, who's disguised for the moment, but he finds Beck, captures him, like ties him up, and he's like questioning him. He's like, "Okay, so what are you doing? Like, why are you pretending to be Tron? Tron's dead." And Beck's like, "I don't believe that. I don't believe Tron's dead. I think, he's just waiting for the right moment, and I think I need to give these programs of my city, hope again." And the character was like, the mystery guy was like, "Well, you're right about one thing. I'm not dead." And he reveals that he's Tron. And basically, he bestows upon the mantle of Tron to him. So I guess Tron's disc gives him like these enhanced abilities that normal programs don't have. And that's
Mm.
how Beck is able to kind of fully take up the mantle of Tron. Now, a lot of people are theorizing, okay, so what if the Tron that we see in Tron Legacy isn't like Tron, but Beck's version of Tron, which would be kind of
So,
cool, but also at the same time, it's like, okay, well then what happened in regular Tron? So,
so if Tron can give abilities, does that mean Tron has like? Because it was originally what? It was Clue, and then Kevin, and then they created Tron first, right? Before all the other ones?
no. So what
Or
happened was, so how they kind of explain it in Legacy is, Flynn recreated the grid so that way humans and programs could live in that grid. So he was like designing a grid for both humans and programs to visit.
mm,
So that was the whole purpose of the second grid, because the first grid isn't technically Flynn's, or maybe it was, and he just kind of like got it taken from Dillinger, who's again like kind of the main human bad guy of the first Tron. But in the first Tron, Dillinger steals Kevin Flynn's success, basically. Like, he takes credit for Kevin Flynn's achievements and then
uh,
fires him. So Kevin Flynn starts Flynn Arcade, and that's where we see in Tron Legacy, like, where he hides the little transporting device to the grid. So, but he basically takes that device because he technically owns it, because it's a part of the company that he technically owns. Like,
yeah.
Dillinger got caught like taking credit and everything, and it was posted in the news and everything. Um, so basically, all that happens, and then Kevin Flynn gets the company back, and he gets all his achievements back and everything. So he wins in the end. So he gets the company back. And he does all these good things, which it kind of shows, like, at the start when the news thing pops up on the TV and is like, Kevin Flynn was, known for all these great things and giving technology and everything. But, obviously, he disappears, and that's what they kind of touch upon. So they barely touch upon his success and what he does with the company, which is what I think they'll do in Tron Ares. They'll kind of build more upon the company. Because that's the other thing, too, is Sam Flynn himself was like, I'm going to take the company back, Alan. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to rebuild the company that my dad left behind. So he's going to take the shares that his dad left behind for him to go basically build a better world, both technological and just, like, socially with human beings, So, like, he's going to do what his dad always wanted, which was to unite technology and human beings and everything. So to kind of go back to, like, the grid, the new one that Kevin Flynn was working on. So what was going on with that was Kevin Flynn built a new grid, and then he rebuilt Clue, because Clue was actually in the first movie as well, but only for a little bit, because he died to the Master Control Program, who's the grid villain in Tron 1. So he gets killed, so Flynn builds a new Clue, and then what he does is he takes Alan, or Tron's creator's program, Tron, to be the protector of this grid. So he borrows Tron from Alan and puts it in his grid. So he doesn't create Tron, he just basically takes the program that his friend Alan made and puts it into the grid to protect the grid. And then he brings on Clue to build the grid with him, to build a perfect system. So these three guys, they're all starting up the grid, and then all these programs are from, various users and everything, and all that. And then, again, the ISOs show up out of nowhere. And a lot of people, again, are like, well, it's like some sort of parasite or some sort of, like, alien being somehow, like, visiting the grid, like, because they're not programs designed by humans. They just kind of appeared out of thin air. And, Flynn was even telling Sam in Tron Legacy, like, they could be, like, the key to everything, like the key to curing diseases, the key to, like, building, like, greater technologies than humankind has ever known. Like, they're the key to the future, basically. But again, Clue gets jealous and sees this as a problem. Like, he sees the ISOs as almost like a virus for the grid, and that's why he kills them all except Cora, who manages to escape. And then she's like the sole survivor of the ISOs, who goes with Sam to do who knows what, to cure diseases or, again, start the future that Kevin Flynn wanted. Or, maybe her and Sam somehow are making babies. I don't know. I don't know what's going on between the two. I don't know if they were exactly a romantic couple, but there was something going on there. They're either really good friends or whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to assume anything or even fantasize about anything. So, for all you theorists, or maybe even the creators of Legacy were like, oh yeah, no, they were definitely, like, together. If you guys want to correct me on that or whatnot, then go ahead, but I have no clue what they ended up being, because, again, like, the new movie has no implication that Sam or Cora are returning at all. Like, they could not be showing up in this movie at all, which would suck, because, again, like, I really liked both their characters. But yeah, that's me ranting forever. But
Yeah, like,
basically, I'm sorry. Like, yeah,
you're good.
forgive me for, like, going on this long journey and explanation of like what's actually going on in this universe. Because like you, I'm very excited for Ares because me and my brother, we grew up with those movies and we're just like, we're ready for 'em, man. Like, I'm ready for this sequel that we've wanted for like years, that they've teased for years. So, you know. Um, but
Like I
yeah,
feel
like,
like the reason why Clue, I mean, it's probably not the only reason, but like he probably did it for other reasons. But like I feel like how do I say this? Like Clue was just jealous that like they were taking Kevin away from him. Like he felt jealous of like, oh, now he doesn't like me or need me anymore because he found a better source of information within the system and the grid itself. Now he doesn't need me anymore, and he's like, if I kill them all, then he won't need me, or he will need me more. I feel like it was more of like a jealousy act of abandonment is what I was getting from him. But
well, yeah, no, like that's definitely it. Like maybe he felt like irrelevant with like Flynn now because yeah, like you were saying, like the ISOs are basically capable of accomplishing all of Flynn's goals and like dreams and everything now, and Clue can't like really be on par with that, and that's why he wanted to basically take over is because like yeah, he felt
abandoned.
um yeah, he felt abandoned. Like he even like calls out Flynn, like he's like, "You didn't stick to the plan." Like, our my plan or I was designed by you to create the perfect system. And Kevin Flynn even says like, "Well, that's the problem with perfection is it's unknown. Like I even like my young self didn't know that when I created you." Like so like he asks for forgiveness, he apologizes to Clue, but in the end Clue still chose like, "Hey, you know, I'm going to be the superior being. It's not you who doesn't need me anymore. It's me who doesn't need you anymore." Like this superiority complex that he has, with him and his user is, yeah, like it's just lost, which is kind of sad because, yeah, it's kind of like, you know, like I would even compare it to like real life friendship. Like some friends just like feel abandoned when like a new person shows up in their group or whatever. Like they feel obsolete compared to like this new person in the group. But in the end, Kevin Flynn wanted to involve Clue. Like he wanted Clue to come up with ideas with the ISOs. Like he wanted them to collaborate. He wanted like human technology and then ISO technology to combine and give them like the closest thing to perfection, like, and again, like that's what Kevin Flynn was kind of saying to Clue is like, we don't know perfection, maybe they do, like
Yeah,
we're trying to build a perfect system, but like maybe that's not possible without them, or maybe even with them, maybe they aren't the perfect system. But that doesn't mean like, hey, we're going to take these unknown beings and just absolutely kill them all, like obliterate them. Like that's just like so unfair to them. It's so unfair to Kevin because like he's like, you destroyed like this entire race just because you felt bitter about like my choice to let them stay in the grid. So,
yeah,
like obviously Kevin feels betrayed, but at the same time he realizes his betrayal of, Clue. Like he's like, okay, I see how he feels. I'm trying to get him to see how I feel, but again, Clue's a program that was designed for one purpose, create the perfect system, and his version of perfection was only between him and Kevin Flynn. And because Kevin Flynn, quote unquote, defected and chose the ISOs, he's no longer perfect. He's no longer worthy of creating the perfect system,
yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's pretty interesting because there's a lot of deep stuff to go into, but also, yeah, it's just like it's super sad when you think about it because, yeah, like Clue was basically a copy of Kevin, and Kevin didn't see the abandonment that Clue felt until it was too late. And then Tron, on the other hand, he saw Clue as a friend and a fellow program who wanted to be a part of a system that involved every program that could appear and everything. So it's just all this crazy stuff that happened, and I don't know. I really, really do look forward to Tron Ares, but unfortunately, in my opinion, I feel like they're going to completely disregard everything that happens in Legacy, basically. Like, I think the only
Yeah.
thing they'll bring up is the plan that Clue had to take programs into the real world. I think that's the only thing they'll do. And that's fine, but I do want to see some more world building. I'm even hoping maybe they'll reconsider bringing back Tron Uprising, which I recommend you watch because it's actually a pretty good show, and it. How do I put this? It's just so good. It's really good. It doesn't feel like a kid show, but it's animated and everything. So, but it's just still so very good. And that's to anyone who's a fan of Tron or Tron Legacy. They're both just so good. I guess there was also a Tron 2 movie, or not movie, a Tron 2 game that was a continuation of the first movie, but I don't know how canon it is to the actual franchise.
Like, yeah, I think you might, I think you're probably gonna be right on, they're not gonna, tie it too much to the Legacy series because, it was such a good series, but it was, also so hated, but then not hated at the same time. Not a lot of people liked it all much, and I'm just afraid that you might be right that they're not gonna tie it too close because they don't want to connect the movie that they know probably didn't do all that well in the first place. So, I mean,
Well,
I
and that's
think it was a
the
great movie, but it's such a 50-50 movie. A lot of people either like it or a lot of people just don't like it.
well, and yeah, that's the problem with that show is or with that movie is it was so out of left field for Disney to do because Tron, the original Tron, was made back in 1980. I keep forgetting. Okay. 1982. So basically 1980. So for them to make a movie, I don't know, 30 years later about the same franchise, but completely turn it. Kind of like what you were saying, it was the same thing with the prequels of Star Wars, the original trilogy was made back in 1972, but then, for them to come back 20, 30 years later and make the prequel series for all the original fans, that was so weird and bizarre and not as liked or whatever. I
Yeah.
would say though that in my opinion at least, I feel like Tron Legacy is liked more than the original Tron. At least I think so, cuz some people didn't even know the original Tron existed before Tron Legacy. But I grew up with the original Tron before Legacy came out thanks to my dad. My dad grew up with the original Tron and showed it to me and my brother before Legacy was even announced. So, yeah, and I mean, again, admittedly, I think I like Legacy more than the original Tron, but I'm not, throwing shade at the original one either. I really like both of them. And, it's the same with Star Wars. Like I like both pretty equally. Like I like the era of the prequel trilogy better, but I like the um but I like episode 6 more. Like episode 6 is my favorite episode, you know? So,
Yeah, like I haven't seen the TV series that you're talking about, but I probably will give it a watch for sure. I just hope that they're gonna, keep it going and keep it with the originals, and but we can only hope. But I know
yeah.
it's gonna be cool. I understand. I love the concept of it. I really hope we get to see more of Tron, like the actual character Tron. Um, because he was really cool in my opinion. I loved him a lot. He was kind of like him and Sam were my favorite. Like Sam, the bike that he rode in the very beginning is a Ducati, and it's my dream bike ever since I watched the movie. Um,
Yeah, no, that's very fair. Like, yeah, Tron is one of the reasons why I wanted to own a motorcycle. I want to clarify I don't want to anymore, but that's because my parents scared me out of it, so you can blame them for me no longer wanting a motorcycle.
like I'm
Um,
gonna get one eventually. Like as soon as we move down to where we're planning on going, and I have a garage, whether it's like we own a house or a trailer or whatever, and we have like a pop up tent. I'm gonna get a motorcycle so I can keep it in there. But
yeah. Also, so we're basically done, but there was
oh,
one thing we didn't bring up that I'm surprised we didn't bring up. But besides the visuals, besides the story, what was one other thing that stood out to you in Tron Legacy specifically? Like, what was the other big thing besides the visuals that made it such a good movie? And I'm
um,
pretty sure you'll
mm,
guess it, but I'm curious. Yeah, like what do you think I'm
like
talking about?
I don't necessarily think I know exactly what you're talking about, but I think that like the whole bike racing game event is my favorite. Um, for multiple reasons. One, it looked really cool. Two, it was such a cool concept, and it kind of matched with the whole Hunger Game kind of style, where they'll grab like like the ISOs or whatever you want to call them, and they'd like fight them for game or for pleasure, like gladiator type stuff.
Well,
But
The ISOs are dead. Those are programs. They're just normal programs.
yeah, so what I was thinking is like maybe they might show other types of events or other sports that they have in that universe or program, whatever you want to call it. I think that they're going to show, or hoping that they're going to show other type of sports or games that they have like that. But
So that's
yeah,
not exactly what I was talking about. You were right, but though there are more games and stuff in the first movie as well as in the TV shows. So again, if you haven't seen either of those, I think they're both on Disney Plus. Like I think all three Tron projects are on Disney Plus. So definitely go check them all out. I recommend watching Tron Legacy, then Tron Uprising, even though Uprising takes place in between Tron and Tron Legacy. But that's so that way you can get the movies out of the way. And then when you see like the show, you're like, oh yeah, I get all those references to, like Tron Legacy and Tron 1, or
yeah.
like the original Tron. But what I was talking about was the music, which was
Ooh.
made by none other than Daft Punk, which unfortunately they broke up. I'm sure if they had not broke up though, I guarantee you they would have come back and done the score again because that
100%.
music was so amazing. Like I think that's probably my favorite score of all time. Like I love Tobey
Oh, the
Maguire's
soundtrack was
Spider-Man.
great.
Yeah, I love a lot of the Marvel soundtracks. I love the Star Wars soundtracks, but gosh dang, Daft Punk knocked it out of the park. But in
Like,
the Tron Ares trailer, Nine Inch Nails, who is also a digital band, who is going to be kind of taking their place, or not taking their place, but basically because they do similar music, they'll be the ones in charge of this music. And what I love about the theme, or at least the feel of their music, is it's much darker. So I feel like Tron Ares is going to be a much darker film compared to the other two. And I'm really kind of hoping for that. Like, I'm rooting for that because, like, if you even realize, like, there's no blue, green, or other, like, shaded colors except red. Even the so called hero, Ares, is red. So I'm wondering if the reason why is like, we're only going to get darker characters, which I would love because
Yeah.
it would be basically a dark versus dark, and that'd be so interesting to see. Kind of like Star Killer versus Vader and Palpatine, Like, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. And with Nine Inch Nails, we got a little taste of, I think it was their music in the trailer, and it sounds not as good, but still pretty freaking cool. And I'm really looking forward to the music. I'm really looking forward to the soundtrack and everything. So I'm hoping, I'm rooting for that as well. Not just the story, not just like what it's going to continue off of, whether it's going to continue off the original movie or Legacy or Uprising. I don't care where it continues off of. I just hope A, it's a good story, and B, like the music just knocks it out of the park like Daft Punk did.
Yeah.
Because again, yeah.
Like, I have a quick little theory. Like, I feel like in this one, you mentioned it earlier, how, like, um, Ares, or the guy that, character that, what's his name? We just talked about him. He played Morbius, what's his name?
Oh, Jared Leto.
Yeah, Jared Leto. I feel like Jared Leto is going to be working with Clue originally, and then he's gonna like go to talk to Sam or whatever, and then or whoever I feel like he's gonna talk to Sam at some point, and Sam's gonna like try to like truly show him what's going on, and then I feel like he's gonna like realize, oh, Sam was right, I'm following a bad leader or whatever, and then like turn against his own leader or aka Clue and go against Clue, and we're gonna see like the whole dark like bad on bad type stuff. That's what I feel like might happen, and I think that would be a really cool idea.
I do like that theory because I have a very similar one. So, what I think happened was, so one of two scenarios, Kevin Flynn made Ares from the start, like along with Clue, and brought in Tron for the grid. So, like, if any programs escaped, his job was to go out of the grid and gather them and bring them back or de-res them. Because the caption of the film is "There's no going back," so he probably is going to kill them, and then he himself probably has to die. Like, that's probably his programming. So either he made Ares from the get-go, or kind of like what you said, maybe Clue made Ares, and then Flynn found him while hiding, and he repurposed Ares to basically go kill Clue's forces. Like, maybe he reprogrammed Ares to be the anti-Clue, like, Legion character, which would be cool, because we could, like, see a one-man army, like Tron. Like, Tron could take on, like, almost an army of, like, Clue's followers and everything, which was so cool about him. And, like, obviously Clue was a lot stronger than Tron, but that's only because Kevin Flynn is a stronger programmer, and because of him being stronger or a more advanced programmer than Alan, who made Tron, Clue was obviously going to be stronger than Tron.
Yeah, very true. I like that idea. Like, it's going to be just an all general around exciting movie, so...
Yeah, like, even if our theories aren't right, I am really excited to see, like, what Ares' purpose is, because, again, like, from the get-go, like, in the trailer, supposedly you hear Kevin Flynn say something to Ares like, "Are you ready?" And he's like, "Good, because there's no coming back. Like, there's no going back." Like, so once he leaves the grid, again, he's probably not coming back, and he knows this. Like, maybe that's what he'll struggle with as a character. Like, maybe he'll be like, "I don't want to necessarily die, but it's my programming." Or maybe he'll be a hero to the real world, and the real world will be like, "Well, you shouldn't deserve to die. You, like, saved lives, you stopped the bad guys, you should live on and continue to protect the real world," or something. Like, maybe the cop lady will, like, convince him to not kill himself or something.
Yeah, I feel
Or,
like Sam's girlfriend or whatever you want to call her friend would be like,
Cora.
yeah, I feel like she would be like, well, look, like I can help. Like maybe they found a way to like be able to help him, um, or be able to like help him out or something. Like make it so like he can, so they can live in the real world. Like other programs or whatever can live in the real world, and they found out a way to like make it possible and safe for him to actually live, or maybe they found a way so he can go back into the grid if he wanted to, and that's probably what's gonna like help him like become a good person because they're giving him a way out.
Well, and that's another good point, too, because a lot of people are saying maybe Ares is the new Tron, because at the end of Legacy, we saw Tron fall into the water. Like, he's not dead, because otherwise he would have turned into, like, shards
Excuse
or
me.
pieces, kind of like the other programs.
Yeah.
Like, we see his lights turn from orange to blue. So he went back to being a good program. So the question is is Ares not gonna be the only title character we see? Like, will Tron come back and maybe he'll be the one to convince Ares to be a good guy? Like, maybe at the end, like Tron, maybe Ares' lights will turn from red to blue and he'll be like a full-on good guy, like not just struggling with Clue in his head or whoever turned him red or whatever, but like also like grasping the concept of like, both human and program lives matter, so it's my job to protect them both or something. I don't know. Like, I'm really looking forward to it. But that is unfortunately the end of our time. I hope you guys
Yeah.
enjoyed this episode. I certainly enjoyed talking about it. I know I kind of rambled for like a good 20, 30 minutes there. I was just kind of giving history on Tron because that's kind of what I wanted to do in this episode, was kind of like revisit what I knew about Tron and what I'm looking forward to the new Tron. And I'm hoping if Ares is a success, that they'll keep going on with Tron projects, because Tron is a really cool franchise, and if they keep it going like this, it could be something like it could be the next Star Wars for all we know, and I'm hoping that's the case.
Yeah, that'd be really
But other
cool.
than that, guys, if you have not already, please go check out Griffin Shock on both Twitch and YouTube. He does some really cool stuff over there, single-player games and other Let's Play games. He also does some similar games like I do. If you enjoy that, you just want a different perspective. He also plays Fortnite and Minecraft and other games like Phasmophobia, and we sometimes do it together. If not, most of the time we do it together. If you guys haven't checked me out already, obviously if you're here, you're on the Twitch channel, please drop a follow if you haven't already and you just now found it. If you want to, I have some edited VODs on my YouTube channel at multi-might, so if you guys want to go check that out. But other than that, guys, oh yeah, and obviously our podcast, if you guys want to go listen to some old episodes, we have them all on our Sense of Humor podcast on YouTube channel. But yeah, we stream every Saturday and we upload every Monday, or try to at least. But other than that, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.